The scope showed everything in crystal clarity. General Patton's profile at 340 yards, the wind barely a whisper, the morning sun creating perfect visibility. The 16-year-old sniper's breathing was controlled, his heartbeat steady, his finger taking up the trigger slack. He had made this shot dozens of times before.
What happened out there, soldier?
23 Allied
Sir, we were
soldiers never
ambushed.
knew
I got
what hit
separated.
them. This would be
And the
shot
others?
number 24, and it would make him a hero of the Reich. 10 pounds of pressure, that's all it would take. His finger tightened. Patton turned slightly, presenting an even better angle, the perfect kill shot. And then the boy started crying, not from fear, not from hesitation, but from something that broke inside him at that exact moment, something that made him realize he couldn't be a murderer anymore, even for Germany, even for the Führer, even to win the war. April 3rd, 1945. A forest ridge overlooking Patton's command post near Gotha, Germany. An American general standing completely exposed, a Hitler Youth sniper with 23 confirmed kills holding him in perfect crosshairs. What happened in the next 17 minutes exposed the psychological collapse happening inside the Hitler Youth that Allied intelligence had completely missed. For 6 weeks, American forces had been terrorized by a phantom. They called him the schoolboy ghost, a German sniper who struck without warning, disappeared without a trace, and never missed. 23 Allied soldiers had died by his hand. Officers, medics, radio operators. Always a single shot. Always lethal. Always from impossible distances. American counter-sniper teams found his positions after attacks, spent Mauser casings, disturbed foliage, but never the shooter. Intelligence analysis revealed disturbing patterns. Boot print size and positioning calculations suggested the sniper was a teenager, possibly 15 or 16. A child was killing American soldiers with the efficiency of a seasoned professional. Captain James Morrison had been tracking the schoolboy ghost obsessively. This kid has killed more Americans per engagement than entire Wehrmacht companies, he reported to Patton. He's getting bolder, moving closer to our command positions. Patton studied the map of kill locations. He's not getting bolder. He's trying to get caught. Morrison blinked. Sir? Look at the pattern. He's closing in on where officers congregate, like he's looking for something, or someone. Neither man realized how right they were. April 3rd, 1945, 06:47 hours. Patton emerged from his command tent to review tactical maps with his staff. Normally he conducted briefings inside, but the spring weather was clear. He stood in the open, maps spread on a field table, completely exposed. 340 yards away, 16-year-old Dieter Klein watched through his Kar 98K rifle scope. Dieter had been tracking Patton for 3 days. He knew the general's routines, vulnerabilities. He had passed up dozens of shots at other officers, waiting for this specific target. General George S. Patton, the man Hitler called the most dangerous American general, the ultimate target. Killing Patton would make Dieter a hero of the Reich. He steadied his breathing, controlled his heart rate. Patton's head was perfectly centered in the crosshairs. The shot was guaranteed. But then Dieter looked at Patton's face through the scope. Really looked. The general was laughing at something a staff officer said. His face was weathered, exhausted. But in that moment, he looked grandfatherly, human, real. Dieter didn't see the legendary general. He saw someone's father, someone's grandfather, a man who laughed at jokes, just like his own father had laughed before the war killed him. Dieter's finger rested on the trigger, 10 pounds of pressure, but his hand started shaking. Images flooded his mind. His 23 previous kills, the American soldier writing a letter when Dieter's bullet struck, the medic bandaging a wounded comrade, the young officer barely older than Dieter himself, 23 men, 23 sons, brothers, fathers, 23 people who would never go home. For what? For a regime that destroyed his country? For a Führer hiding in a bunker? For a war already lost? Tears blurred Dieter's vision. He couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't kill another person. He couldn't be a murderer for a cause he no longer believed in. Dieter slowly removed his finger from the trigger. He unloaded the rifle, ejecting the chambered round. He placed the weapon on the ground. Then he stood up, hands raised, and walked toward the American lines. American sentries nearly shot him on sight. A figure in Hitler Youth uniform emerging from the forest. This could be the schoolboy ghost. This could be a trap. "Don't shoot!" Dieter screamed in broken English. I surrender? I am the sniper! MPS found his car 98K lying behind him, unloaded and abandoned. They searched him. No weapons, nothing. I want to speak to General Patton, Dieter said clearly. I had him in my scope. I chose not to shoot. I need to tell him why. Within minutes, Captain Morrison arrived. You're the schoolboy ghost? Dieter nodded. My name is Dieter Klein. I'm 16 years old. I have killed 23 American soldiers. I could have killed General Patton 17 minutes ago. I chose not to. I need to speak with him. Morrison's jaw clenched. Every instinct said, execute this boy. But something in Dieter's eyes, exhaustion, defeat, but also peace, made him hesitate. Why should I bring you anywhere near the general? Because I chose mercy over murder, and I think the general will want to know why thousands of Hitler Youth soldiers are breaking the same way I just did. 20 minutes later, Dieter sat across from General Patton. Patton studied the boy in silence. You're the one who's been killing my men. Yes, sir. 23 confirmed kills. You had me in your scope this morning. Yes, sir. 340 yards. Guaranteed kill shot. Why didn't you take it? Dieter gathered his thoughts. Because I saw you laugh, General, and I realized you were human, just like all the others I killed, and I couldn't do it anymore. You had an attack of conscience? No, sir. I've been having attacks of conscience since my 7th kill, but my training, my indoctrination, my fear, they kept me going. Every time I pulled the trigger, a piece of me died. This morning I realized I had a choice. Kill one more person and become completely dead inside, or choose to be human again. Patton's expression didn't change. You're telling me you're the victim? No, sir. I'm a murderer. I chose to pull the trigger 23 times. I deserve whatever punishment you give, but I'm not the only Hitler Youth sniper breaking down. We were trained from age 12 to be killers. Now that the war is lost, we're realizing what we've become. Some are surrendering. Some are committing suicide. Some just walk away. Captain Morrison leaned forward. There's a mass psychological breakdown in the Hitler Youth program. Yes, sir. All of us. We were children when they took us. They said we were heroes, that dying for Germany was glorious. But now we understand what we are. Child soldiers, murderers, and the guilt is destroying us. Patton exchanged a glance with Morrison. How many Hitler Youth snipers are active in this sector? I knew of 7, sir. 3 are dead or captured. The others are close to breaking, just like I was. Can you identify their positions? Yes, sir. Will you? Dieter met Patton's eyes. If it stops more killing, yes. I'll tell you everything. Dieter Klein's intelligence led to the capture of 4 more Hitler Youth snipers over 2 weeks. Not one resisted. All surrendered willingly, psychologically shattered. Patton's report documented the moral collapse of Germany's child soldier program. It became key evidence in post-war analysis of Nazi youth indoctrination. Dieter testified at Nuremberg about the Hitler Youth Sniper program. He never denied his crimes or claimed to be a victim. He simply told the truth, that he killed 23 people, would carry that guilt forever, and his only redemption was choosing not to kill the 24th. Patton kept a photograph of Dieter's abandoned rifle on his desk, the weapon lying in forest dirt, unloaded, with a single unfired bullet beside it. That bullet represents a choice, Patton told his aide. The choice to stop being a killer. If a 16-year-old brainwashed Hitler Youth can make that choice, then maybe there's hope for humanity after all. Dieter Klein died in 2009 at age 80. He spent his life working with organizations preventing child soldier recruitment worldwide. His final interview included this quote, I had the power to change history in my hands. All it would have taken was 10 pounds of trigger pressure, but I chose to save a life instead of taking one. That's the only thing I did in the war that I'm not ashamed of. The Kar 98K rifle Dieter abandoned that April morning was recovered by American forces and eventually donated to the National World War II Museum in New Orleans, where it sits in a special exhibit about child soldiers. Next to it is the single unfired 7.92 millimeter Mauser round that lay beside the rifle in the dirt, the bullet that would have killed Patton. The museum placard reads, This bullet was never fired. In that moment of restraint, a 16-year-old boy chose humanity over hatred, mercy over murder, and redemption over revenge. 23 families never got their sons back because of Dieter Klein, but 43 Allied officers, including General Patton, went home to their families because he finally said no. Sometimes the most important shot a soldier takes is the one he refuses to fire.